Hello and welcome to the live stream. Hello, Stitchy friends. If you just give me a second, because I'm not seeing the chat screen. Can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Oh, it's Nikki. Hi, Nikki. How lovely to see you. How are you doing today? Let me know if there might be some lag. Let me know if my voice is coming through loud and clear. Hey, Susan. My regular friends, my team, my stitching team, and Tracy, and Woo Woo. Lovely to be with you again. How is everybody doing? So it's Friday, 7 p.m. here in Scotland, and I'm working on Vatican Sunset, one of my favorites. What are you guys all going to be stitching on? Or are you going to do some stitching? Great, I'm glad the sound is working today. Sometimes the sound can be a little bit off, but seems to be looking okay at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of stitching, and this one is the Heaven and Earth design. I started it about, I always like underestimate because time goes so fast, as you know, so I always say something like a few months, but really it's probably like a year and a half. And I'm pretty pleased with what I got done on this chart. So yeah, I'm actually going to work on this dome right now because I'm just in that mood. I'm tired of sky. I don't want to stitch any more sky. I know I will at some point, but not right at this moment. Hello, Rivers Love. How are you today? You're stitching on Fingers of God. 75%. Wow, that's incredible. That's a great number. I really wish I was at 75% with this one. I think I'm at, well, I don't think, I am at 18%, which isn't too bad really, considering I've got quite a few big full coverage on the go. Hello, Maolin. Nice to see you. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And yeah, Contessa with Squid. I know that one. That's a golden oldie, isn't it, Nikki? I think it's called a golden oldie. I think I've seen that one being stitched a few years ago. I can't remember who stitches it. So I think I should actually do some stitching. But I will obviously chat to you at the same time. And Tracy's in the doctor's office. Nothing serious, I hope, Tracy. I have been to the doctor's office myself. That's a little story I can tell you about, actually. Not today. I haven't been to the doctor's today, but I have been recently because I don't know if I mentioned it, that I had a little injury in my foot. I think I did mention it. And I got like a little bump at the bottom of my foot. So it kind of looked like a little pebble under this. It felt like a little bump underneath the skin, like not on top of the skin. It's like, and you know how on the bottom of your feet, it's kind of hard skin. It's not really like soft, like your hands or your arms. So it's like a little bump just under the skin. So I was like thinking, well, my foot doesn't hurt anymore, but why doesn't this little bump not go away? And so I'd gone to the doctor for something completely different. And whilst I was there, I asked her about this little bump in my foot. And I said, please don't tell me it's something serious because I really can't handle that. Just, give me the cream or give me the medicine. So I just tell me what to do. Hi Liz, nice to see you. What are you stitching on? I hope it's not serious, Tracy. Keep my fingers crossed for you. Are you streaming me in the doctor's office? I hope nobody else can hear me. So anyway, the doctor said what you've got is really common, and it had a really funny name. It's called Morton's neuroma, and it's like really harmless, but it's just like this little inflamed nerve. And if you're walking on your barefoot, if you're walking in barefoot on like hardwood flooring, which I have hardwood flooring, then it irritates the nerve, and then you just irritate the bump under your foot. So basically that's it. There's no treatment, there's nothing. Just basically put on a pad or one of these insoles, like insoles into your shoe. And the only thing is if it gets big and painful, then they have to maybe like syringe it or something, which sounds horrible. But she said it's not likely to happen. So anyway, just annoying little new buddy I've got on my foot now. Stitching buddy. I think I prefer my cat to a bump on my foot when it comes to stitching buddies. Hi, Grace. Oh, you finally caught me live. Thank you very much. I was saying that I'm going to try and do them every couple of weeks going forward. If that changes, of course, I'll let you know. But yeah, I'd like to. I keep forgetting to stitch. I should just do a chat, a stitchy chat, because I'm terrible. So yeah, I don't want to go to the doctor again, touch wood, this year, because I'm tired. Traipsing backwards and forwards with silly niggly little things, and just thank goodness everything's okay. Have I missed any messages? Nope. So come on, everybody, get your needles out, start stitching. So you're working, Liz, are you? Are you allowed to be sneakily listening to live streams while you're working? Are they not noticing that you're doing that? I don't know why, but all of a sudden, when I do a live stream and I'm stitching live, the holes in my canvas look so much smaller than normal for some reason. I don't know why it is. But they are 25 count because that's what I'm doing this particular design on. And I'm kind of tempted to just go down and keep going on with this dome. But then I kind of feel bad. I feel like I should get on with the sky. Does anybody else feel bad about just going wild and just, you know, stitching away somewhere else from where they're actually stitching? But to be fair, I did go in filling all this area around here. So that was very disciplined of me, I have to say, because since I started getting used to cross country, that's really what I've been doing quite a lot now. And I'm getting a bit more confidence in terms of really going cross country, like not just a little bit, but a lot. However, it does leave things a little bit scattered, like you don't know where to go next, unless you have like a really solid plan. You don't know where to go next. And often I don't know where to go next. So I'm just winging it. I'm going with the flow, whatever the flow is. And now I've got my lovely cat Misty has joined us, but not in, I was going to say in person, but she's not a person, she's a cat. She's joined us because her little hairs are landing on my canvas. So she's sending her hairs this way to remind me to mention her, because I don't know where she is at the moment. Okay. Let me just say, guys, if I make a mistake in this tonight, I don't care. It's staying in. I'm not doing any frogging anymore, but I don't mean ever. Hi, Brittany, how are you? Oh, Stitching Liz can still watch videos all day. because you work from home. Oh my God, that is the ultimate dream for everybody, isn't it? Can you give me a job, Liz, so I can do the same? Well, mind you, I do that anyway, so I don't stitch all day though. I can't stitch all day because my back would go nuts and then I wouldn't be able to stitch at all. So yeah, I have to keep getting up and moving around. Hi, Stitchy Dutchy. What are you stitching on today? Stitching Liz says, stitching on what part interests you is one of the best things about stitching. I'm a totally wild stitcher. Yeah, I think it's true. I used to be so cautious and careful and really like, you know, a little convent girl. I had to do everything properly and I had to make sure that I had all the little gaps filled in before I came down another square. And then I just thought, to hell with this. I'm just getting, you know, I'm just getting too old for this silliness. I can do what I want. It's my piece of canvas. So, yeah. The only thing I haven't tried is stitching upside down, which I think some stitchers are actually do, or they stitch sideways or, yeah, upside down side. I don't mean like they literally go upside down on their heads. I mean, they somehow turn the digital file or the pattern keeper or saga or whatever it is, I'm not sure exactly, they somehow turn it. I don't know how you do that. Oh, I might have an idea on pattern keeper because pattern keeper has a way of not rotating the screen, so you might be able to turn it round and then stitch, but that would just do my brain in. I don't think I could. I don't really think I could do that without making a mistake, to be honest. I don't trust myself. I'd kind of have to do that on like a practice piece to see if how it worked out. And the other thing is, if you were to stitch your piece from the bottom of your piece from the top down, so it's literally upside down, wouldn't that mess your like bottom left to top right kind of stitching if you were doing it that way? Or if you're doing bottom right to top left, it would reverse. Am I wrong? Or is this just getting too technical? Yeah, I'd be afraid that I would mess that up as well. So yeah, I wouldn't do it. Like, there are some things that I don't think I'm brave enough to do, and that's like bottom down stitching or sideways or something like that. Right, hang on, guys. Have I done too many stitches? No, I'm fine. So this is all a grey 317. Is it? Yeah, 317 that I'm doing here. I really love the purples. I'm getting really into the purples lately. Yeah. Not really that keen on the lighter colours per se, because they do tend to mess with my eyesight a little bit. But I think that's a common kind of thing. I don't think I'm the only one who has that issue. Right, I do have to do a little bit of counting here, which is unfortunately comes with the territory. So instead of doing sky, which is all like nice blocks of colour, this is a little bit, not too bad, but it is a little bit confetti. Rivers Love says, when I get bored with solid blocks or crazy with confetti, I'll move somewhere completely different. Yeah, that's the way to do it, isn't it? I mean, I think that before I just used to feel like if I started it one way, then I should honour that and continue that way. But I've changed my mind. Things are a lot different for me now. I used to fret a lot about doing it a certain way. Now I just think, do you know what? It's taken a few years to have the courage to try new things, because I've always been scared of like messing it up. But sometimes you kind of have to go through a bit of a mess up to come out the other side. Otherwise, how are you going to discover something new? Do you know what I mean? If you don't like make a mistake or make mistakes, that's kind of how you learn, isn't it? To make mistakes. Yeah, you have to do things more than once. This is a bit confusing because my pattern keeper is showing my stitches with red, like They're marked in red, but my colour is grey. So my eyes are saying, that's not right. It should be a red thread. Obviously not. Hi, Laurie. Nice to see you. And thank you for stopping by. Glad you could make it. Stitchy Dutch is working on 101 Alphabets by Rosewood Manor. I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to check that one out later. I think there was one of yours that I checked out before. I'm not sure. Upside down doesn't mess up your stitches. Turning it sideways does. Oh, okay. But it can be convenient to fit it on a scroll frame. Well, that's good to know. So turning it sideways is only for the brave. So I'm trying to imagine if I was stitching sideways. I'm just not very good with that kind of thinking. My brain's like, just don't, okay? Just stick to what you're doing and don't contemplate it. But you know, you do get curious, don't you? You do get curious. You watch. Next time I come live, I'll have something that's upside down or back to front. And you can all just laugh at me when I make a mistake. Yeah, my biggest mistake recently is in that chart called Castle by Eda Jose Rosa. I totally messed that one up. I've completely fluffed that one up. I put it away because I can't even look at it now because I've gone lost on the counting and I've done a huge chunk in the middle. And I'm just like, no, I don't care right now. Right now, I don't care. I'm not doing the frogging. So I'm just going to leave it for the time being. Maybe one day, if I'm in the mood, I might revisit it and see if I can, I don't know, restart or frog or whatever. But right now, the brain says no. And that's just the way it is. I'd rather be stitching than fixing at the moment. That's what I'd rather be doing. Is anybody else get like that? Do you ever sometimes think, I really don't want to fix something I've made a mess of? I just want to stitch. So kind of put it aside, try to forget about it for a little while. Excuse me while I take a little sip of my flavoured water. This is water flavoured with a touch of apple, which is really nice and refreshing. So I don't get too croaky as I'm talking. So Laurie says, I'm hoping for a finish on a dimensions piece. It's butterflies on 14. Oh, I think I know that one. Let me think. Is that the one with all the butterflies like flying up through the center of the center of the chart, up towards, like it's got a certain perspective, maybe a tree in the middle or something? Oh, blending filament and the dreaded backstitching. Oh no. I think I've used blending filament on, which chart was it now? Hang on, it'll come to me. God, I can't remember anything as soon as I press the live button. My brain goes blank. Aurora Cabin. There was blending filaments on that to give a kind of like a really nice, like a touch of sparkle or something on the stones outside the cabin. That was nice, but I didn't like the blending filament really. And I learned something new. I learned something called couching, which I've never heard of before. And I did that on Aurora Cabin as well. And it was interesting because I thought couching was just lying back on your sofa, lying back on your couch, doing nothing. But no, it's actually a stitch. And I wasn't really sure if I was doing it right or doing it wrong, but it came out okay. It's actually right up on the wall behind me, but you can't see that piece because it's further out of the camera. But yeah, it's one of the first dimension pieces that I've ever finished, actually. I've got lost now. Where am I? Yeah. I don't think, I was saying in my last video, in my update, that I don't want to buy any more kits with any more paper patterns. And my husband said, yeah, you say that now because you're not in the current mood for using paper patterns. About 3 years time, you'll see some dimensions kit or something and you'll be like, I really want to get that. And I said, yeah, probably. But I'm kind of put off because a couple of patterns that I've been working with on paper are just so difficult. And I just give up with all the kerfuffle of trying to get it in PDFs or whatever. So I'm thinking, if it doesn't come, if I can't get the PDF with the paper pattern, I'm just gonna not do it. I think try something else, because I'm getting so spoiled with this digital way of working, and I just really like it. So I think paper patterns, I do them. If push come to shove, I'll do it. But I'm not very good at keeping them neat and tidy either. They just kind of, I'm not terrible with them, but they do get a bit crumpled and stuff like that. Now I'm getting better for laminating things, but you can't really laminate a paper pattern, to be honest. You can laminate the original, but I'm getting better with, being kind to my pieces like that. So good luck on your finish, Laurie. I hope it works out well for you. It'll soon be all over. Don't worry. Just hang in there. Tracy, you stitch sideways with PK the right way. That's just so interesting. I'd love to sit and watch somebody doing that to see if I could do that. That would be really interesting. Brittany says, I wish I knew where my whip of this chart was. Yeah, there's some things hidden at the back of my cupboards that I'm just going to pretend I don't know that they're there. I know that they're there, but they're not really there. I have other things to work on at the moment. I am trying to get, not a finish, but I am trying to keep on working with Gracious Era, because have I just done too many stitches here? No. I'm trying to keep on with the Gracious Era because I've done so much of it. I feel like when I've done so much of something, like up more than 50% or even 40%, I feel like I've done too much to just bin it. I feel like it's really a bit of a sin to bin something that you've done. And so I just hang on to it until I finish it, even if it takes me 10 years, it doesn't matter. So I've been trying to get back to that one. And also, I don't have any June plans. Does anybody have any plans for June? But famous last words, I was thinking of maybe not totally monogamous. I call it monogamous with something on the side. Like you can have a nice diet meal with something on the side, like a salad, more salad, or a sneaky piece of garlic bread. I'm kidding. So I say monogamous with something on the side. And so I was saying to my husband last night, shall I just work on Riverwalk Charm and try to get another page done? And he said, you can say that, but I don't think you'll do that. I think in maybe it'll be 6 days before I get fed up of it and decide I want to work on something else. So he's totally ruined the vision. Although he's right, he just ruined the vision. So now I'm like, okay, maybe not then. Susan says, my piece is really confetti heavy and it has so many mistakes. Oh no, that's not good, Susan. But you can't really tell. Oh, that's okay then, which is the great thing about confetti. Yeah, that's true. You mess up, no one can tell. Yeah, but the thing is, I tell everybody about all my mistakes. But I'm pretty sure most people I tell are not going to remember 10 minutes after I've said it. I've forgotten, I think. I don't think anyone's ever come back to me and said, hey, I know that you made a mistake on this or that. I think people just don't, remember those things. Gosh, even I don't remember those things after a while. like with one of my charts, I think it is actually Riverwalk Charm, I have changed from tent 2 strands to 1/1 full cross so many times that you would think it was ridiculous. So many times I've switched, flip-flopped from on the same piece from one to the other, because maybe I've been watching floss tubers stitching 1/1 and I thought, oh, I really want to do that. Nobody's going to notice if I change it. So then I go back to my same piece and I just completely switch to 1/1. Then a couple of days, like maybe a week later, I see people doing the 2-strand tent. Oh, this is great. And I'm like, yes, tent is fantastic. So then I go back to my piece and I start to, but then it's really irritating because if you've got 1 strands parked, you then have to convert them to 2 if you're going to continue in tent. And if you've got 10 strands, 2 strands parked, you're going to have to cut one off to continue in 1/1. So it's really not the wisest thing to be doing, especially if you do parking. I hope that makes sense. So I haven't done that for a while now. I've been sticking to the 2 strands tent, kind of, just really religiously sticking to it. Because in actual fact, I find the flow for me is actually better. And I don't make, it's just that little bit quicker as well. I don't seem to ever feel that it's bulky or anything. So yeah, whatever works for you. 1, 2, 3. I've missed some messages, have just flown past the screen. Let me go back. Laurie says it has a pre-printed circle of envelopes with very faint. Oh yeah, I think I know that one. 7 buttons, fake green leaves. It does ring a bell. There's lots of butterfly charts though, isn't there? It's easy to get mixed up between one or the other. Brittany says, have you done a review of Royal Rose? It looked like you stitched similarly. Yeah, I think I did stitch in. I think Royal Rose, what she does is she was going to the very end of the piece, and I didn't do that. I was stitching in rows, and I think a lot of other people were stitching in rows. Remember, is it Needle Ninja? Am I right? I can't remember the name now. Some of you might remember her. Needle Ninja, I think was her name. She also worked in a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20 block, and she worked in rows as well. But it was different. I think we were going down in columns rather than the Royal Rose, which I think the standard method is all the way to the end. So there's a little bit of a difference. Laurie says, I lose interest at 95% every piece. Oh my goodness. You are my soul sister, Laurie, because this happens to me every time I get to the end of a piece. In fact, I was laughing with my husband the other night because he said to me, did you finish your challenge? And I said, what challenge? He said, the one where you were going to finish a page at the end of May. And I said, well, actually, I nearly finished it. I only got a little tiny corner left. And he said, why didn't you just finish the corner? And I said, I don't know. I had like a week to finish the last corner and to actually say that I'd done the challenge. And I just couldn't bring it out. So I have no idea, guys, no idea what that's about. And he said that I did the exact same thing. Maybe not for the same reasons as you, Laurie, but I definitely have that thing where I can't finish when I get to very close to the end. And I did the same thing with my Lisa Parker Haid, the black cat that I was doing. I raced through it like really good time. I think I did it in like 12 months. And then I had, I don't know, 3,000 stitches left or something. And I just couldn't do it. Just put it away, didn't want to bring it out. And I don't know what that means. But Maybe it's because you know that once you finish something, you've kind of, you have to let it go in a way, not let it go as in never see it again, but you know you won't be stitching on it again. So there might be some small psychological attachment to it that you lose once you've finished. I don't know. I'm not the expert. I'm just guessing here. But yeah. I do seem to have a problem with doing that last little bit. So I think if I do a challenge next time, I'm gonna have to do a challenge minus the last few stitches. The challenge, your challenge this month is to finish a page, but not the bottom right corner of the page. Done. I can do that. Oh, Brittany says June is a busy month. Oh goodness me. I've lost my screen. Just doing full coverage fanatics bingo on Facebook and fandom stitches. My goodness, that's a lot. That sounds like a lot. Only doing full coverage fanatics bingo on Facebook and fandom stitches. How many things do you do, Brittany, overall? Are you doing these games? I could randomly mention some Milestone Manor, is it, by Jessie Reader stuff? They're fantastic, but I know that I'm just really bad for doing games stuff. And there's loads of other ones around at the moment, isn't there? Springo, Wingo, what's the other ones? There's loads. Susan says, I'm going to focus on 2 of my pieces. I decided to do 500 stitches on one and then choose something else. Then 500 in the second and choose something else. That's really great. I'm going to make a note of that, Susan. Actually, I have thought about doing the 500 switch, but I haven't actually done it as yet. Stitchy Dutch says the 101 alphabets is a paper pattern. First time stitching on linen, first time 2/2, but I'm going to switch to full coverage. Needs some easy stitching. So full coverage is easy for you, Stitchy Dutchy, isn't it? Compared to linen, I think you're probably right. Now hang on a second, because I've got 2 stitches here that I have to do. I don't think I'm going to be brave and flip my work over in case everything comes crashing down on my head. So I'm going to end my thread. Oh no, I can jump. I can do a little jump, small jump. I'm going very slowly and cautiously. So I have worked on linen before. I've done a Celtic lady, I think it was called, lavender and lace on a piece of linen. I have no idea how I managed to do it because I've never used linen before in my life, and it was one of the first things I did before I did full coverage was to pick out one of these lavender, what are they called? Lavender and lace, I think. And I just did it in no time. I think it was during COVID. And all I can remember from that time is doing this lavender and lace thing. What was it? Oh, Celtic Summer. That's it. I was doing her. And I was lying in bed and I was sick, but I don't think I had COVID, but I was actually sick and coughing my guts up when these beads flying everywhere in the bed. And my husband coming to bed and having all these beads stuck to his back. And I'm just so cruel. I was like, I'm not going to tell him. I'm not going to tell him. You can just go with all these beads on. Sorry, I just laugh because I'm such a horrible wife. Anyway, yeah, I was doing it in bed with beads flying everywhere. They were so tiny, you couldn't get them away. And I thought, I think this is going to be the first and the last thing I do with beads because, my goodness, what a mess. I shouldn't have really been doing that kind of chart whilst I was in bed and whilst I was sick, but yeah. I did manage to finish it though, so there is that. And I had a very sparkly husband for the rest of the day, which was quite amusing. But yeah, linen, it's not my favourite. Brittany says it's hard to remember the second cross when I switch from tent to full. I think I've done that. I've done a full cross with 2 strands. because I've thought that I'm still using one strand. So yeah, it's a bit complicated. It can be. Sometimes I come to my piece and I can't remember what I'm doing because I've got some single strands on one side and two strands hanging on another part of the chart, and I'm thinking, which one was I doing? Like, what am I at? Am I doing the two or am I doing the one? And I haven't decided. Yeah, it gets messy. Brittany says, if the fact that there's another person with my name makes me keep looking up from my work. We've got two Britneys. Why is there not another Carla here? I never see another Carla on my live stream. That would be interesting. Susan says 500 stitches is not too much for me. It's doable. It means I still get to touch what I want. I love it. So what happens, Susan? Do you stop at the exact point where you've hit 500 stitches, or do you continue? Like, just imagine you've done 500 stitches and you've got a tiny piece of thread left and you've got 2 more stitches in that color. Would you do them, or would you just stop at the 500? I always wondered about that. 500 is a good amount to get done. I think it's pretty good. I think 1,000 is good. Yesterday I was doing some I went back to doing some rows where you do a couple of stitches in that row and then you park it below, and then you do the next stitch and you park it below. And I know people still do that method, but it was torturous for me because I've been doing this cross country for a while now. So going back to the one stitch at a time thing really undid me. For about half an hour I said to my husband, this is driving me nuts. I feel like I've only got 20 stitches done in the last half an hour. But then there were so many colors in that square. I couldn't have done cross country even if I'd wanted to, because there were so many colors. I had to stop anyway. So I might as well go one stitch at a time. Do you agree or not? One stitch at a time, because that really is all I could do. I had to change color, do another stitch, change color, do another stitch, change color. I'm desperate to get out of that area so that I can get back to, you know, a bit more fluidity, I think. Oh, it's never simple, is it? You'd think stitching would be really simple. Susan doesn't like hanging threads. Oh, I love that. Some people hate them and other people love them. I'm like, sometimes they get on my nerves. Other times I'm like, they're okay. They're not bothering me. Just depends. Do you know what? I find it easier with those little round things. What are they called? Bobbies. When I first saw them, I thought, I think I've made a mistake. I have to frog a stitch now. See what I mean? I thought I was going to get away with this and not actually do the wrong stitch. Oh gosh, I can't tell where I've... Oh, where's my stitch? I can't find it. Help! I've lost my stitch in a sea of stitches. I think it's there. I found it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no, I didn't make a mistake. But now I have to. Because I wasn't looking at because I was looking at the screen, I don't know where my stitch was because my needle was at the back. See, I can't leave my needle behind and then try to expect to know where I'm stitching. That would be asking too much, right? Let me see. One more down here. And then I think that's it for this thread. Laurie finishes all her threads. Kelly says, Oh, hello, Kelly. I didn't see you pop in, I don't think. How are you doing? Laurie says, you need to make needle minders that say no parking allowed. If I get around to making needle minders again, I will. I've been a little bit deflated with my needle minders. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, yeah. I keep thinking I want to make some more, and I want to do more with my little drawings, because some of them are my own artwork. And I'm really quite, if I may say so, I'm quite proud that I draw my own needle minders. Not all of them. Some of them are just like scrap papers and stuff, made from scrap stuff that I get from charity shops. But quite a good bunch of them are made from little digital drawings that I've done myself. And yeah, I was being quite proud of doing those. But then I kind of hit a slump, you know, as you do. I'm doing it for a year, and then sales slowed down a little bit. When Trump's tariffs came along, it kind of hit the shop a little bit, and that kind of deflated me. And then it picked up a bit, and then just the way it is, I guess. And then I just thought, oh, you know, maybe if I just make some new ones. So I was thinking of doing some new ones for like when Halloween comes, and doing some more witchy themed stuff. So I'll try to motivate myself. I need somebody to kick me up the backside and just get me motivated, because I can get into the idea of it, but to actually move and make them is another thing, because they're quite fiddly things to make. You have to use resins, and I need my gas mask when I use resins. And yeah, there's a lot involved, plus doing all the drawings and everything. But yeah, I'll put that in my no parking allowed is a good one, actually. Are you sure there's nothing out there that says that? Because it sounds like a really good thing for a needle minder. Now, have I stitched that bit up here or not? Let me just check this. No, I haven't. I was hoping to get this fourth window done whilst I was talking, but it's a bit adventurous, isn't it, really? There's quite a lot of colours in that. Don't think that would work. Yeah, part threads, they're a little bit like Marmite, aren't they? I don't know if you get Marmite in the US. Do you get Marmite in the US? In the UK, it's this like sludgy thing that people drink with, I think they drink it with hot water. I'm sure I hate it. And it's like, it's well known in the UK that you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. So when you talk about something being Marmite, it's like you love it or you hate it. And I think that's parking your threads is a bit like that. You're either okay with it or you're really not. But I think I was actually doing limited cross country before I saw the parking thing. I don't remember where I first saw the parking bit, and then I copied the parking method. But I hadn't known about the diagonal method for a long time, I think. Oh, I really need to turn this round. I wonder if I can. Yes, I can just about turn it round. Like hitting everything. Because I have really gotten used to turning my work around and ending on the back, which is good practice actually, because it's fairly easy on the Lowry, and it does make it neater, I guess. Now, where are we going next? Maybe I'll do a little bunch just here, just by the window. What colour is that? Oh, I have to stretch for my colour. There you are. So yeah, last night I was working on Riverwalk Charm, and I thought to myself, I'm just going to stitch this for the rest of May and the rest of June. And you know how long that lasts? It lasted 2 hours, and then I put it away. Can anybody tell me if that's crazy? Because I really think it is. To think that I would be able to be monogamous is just wishful thinking. I know I like seeing variation as well, but I feel like if I was to do an update and say I've only worked on one, that'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it? You guys not think that'd be kind of boring? So I think, oh, I should really work on maybe 2 or 3 at least, and then I end up working on 6 or 7. So much for the plans. So guys, what are your plans for June? Have you got any plans to work on something as a focus piece? I know some of you I spoke to last time we were live were saying about getting to a finish would be a good thing. See, now that I'm working on this one, I feel like, oh, I want to go monogamous on this one. So I think it's whatever I'm currently working on is the one that's appealing to me. And then once I get a bit tired of it, why do we get tired of it? I used to be able to stitch on one chart until I finished it. The first Haid I did, the Lisa Parker Bewitched, it was the only one that I was stitching apart from a dimensions, I think, but I wasn't bringing the dimensions out very much. It was the only one I was stitching for a year, literally, and I brought it out every day, every other day, maybe. That to me sounds like normality. I'm not kidding. And I never thought to say, oh, I'm tired of it now. I want to go and start another one or do another one or do another one. I was just like, this is just how you do it. You just stitch one until it's done and then you do another one. Then I found floss tube. Changed my whole world, didn't it? And then that's it. Once you start them all, it's hard to get back to that way of thinking. So I am trying to keep it to a fairly sensible amount of rips, to be honest. I don't know what that amount is any longer, but under 20, I think. But yeah, there is some that I saw yesterday. I thought, oh, I like that one. And I like that one. Stitchy Dutchy says, how about a touch of Riverwalk Charm every day till the end of June? I'll join you. Yeah, sure, I'll do that, Stitchy Dutchy. Let's do that. I'm going to do a little bit of Riverwalk Charm. What did you say, to the end of June? I thought you said to the end of May. That's till tomorrow. All right, okay, let's do June. We can track our progress. I'll come back in 2 weeks and tell you how I've done. But I'll probably, yeah, I was thinking that I could bring it out for 100 stitches or so and see how many that gets me. So what's 100 stitches a day, let's say, over how many days are in June? June has 30 days, right? So how much is that? How many stitches is that? Don't ask me. I'm the worst. I can't calculate anything. So that would be 3,000 stitches, am I right? If you do. How many stitches are there more or less in a page? I'll have to go and figure that out now when I go to see how many, see if that makes a page. But I wouldn't be able to do the last square because that would mean, you know, not sticking to my absurdity of not being able to finish something. So if I had to finish a page, I can't do the last square for a long time after challenge is over. So there has to be some sub rules, perhaps. Does anybody else want to join in with a piece of their choosing, and we can all touch upon it once a day? And I could post it in my Discord community. If anybody wants to join in, come into my Discord community and you can post your progress as well, or just come in and say, I've done my stitches, or however many stitches you need to put in for the month. That sounds like fun. We could call it Stitchy June 100, or whatever number it is you're doing. If you're doing 200, Stitchy June 200. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Stitchy Rich doesn't do plans. Well, I will give it a go. See how far I get. It's probably going to be easier, right, than saying monogamous, because that's like asking too much, I think. Susan blames floss tube. Absolutely 100%, Susan. I agree with you completely. I was monogamous until I started watching. That's exactly what happened. I think that's happened to a lot of us. I don't think it's just, you know, one or two. I think there's a lot of us who are struggling with wanting to start new things all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, because there's no right or wrong in what you do. But it definitely is very different to, for me anyway, as a stitcher, to what I would have been doing 5 years ago. I probably would have laughed if somebody said, hey, go and get like 10 charts and start them. I would have said, don't be ridiculous. Now I just like say, okay. I just don't think I've got not the patience. I have a lot of patience. I don't know if it's the word is stamina. I don't think I want the stamina anymore to do the huge ones, unless something comes along that really blows my mind. And I mean, really blows my mind, then I will consider. But just generally, no. Um, 3,000 in June. Okay, we'll see. I'm like 90% convinced I can do that, which isn't too bad. Because what am I at? I'm at 58%. I'm at nearly 59% on that piece, which means I'm like not quite, I'm on the home run. I'm not quite there, but I am on the home run. So, but it does take a lot of amount of stitches to get a percent, if you know what I mean. So it's not as exciting as a smaller piece where you do, I don't know, 800 stitches and you got by a percent. It takes longer. So when I see like the supersized max colors, the super size that you have to do like heaps of stitches to get to 1%. That's just, it just blows my mind. Has anybody here started the Library of Cats panels? Are you doing that one, Stitchy Dutchy, the Library of Cats? The supersized 2-panel. I think I made a mistake again. I have to take that stitch out. the 2-panel piece that everybody's raving about. Where is my scissors? I'm just going to cut that off before I make a mistake. Oh, hi, Misty. I didn't invite you in. Where are you going? You coming or staying? Are you coming up to say hello to the people? Oh, come and say hello. It was your debut a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? Do you want a little chin scratch? She comes for her regular chin scratch. Do you know, Misty, that my video peaks when I put you on the screen? So don't complain. Oh, Balana, you're there. Nice to see you. I am indeed becoming a cross-country stitcher, and I think once you become a cross-country stitcher, it's very difficult to change that to become an ex, you know, an ex cross stitch. Oh, Misty, Misty, Misty. Brittany says, well, I have to say bobbing with Brittany because we've got 2 Brittany's here. Bobbing with Brittany said, I was able to talk myself out of the library. Waiting to see what quick stitch charts come out. Misty, you're not looking very happy. You look a bit like that grumpy cat today. There's no flies up here for you to chase. Sorry. Come on. Hello, Solar Winds. It's Marie. She made it finally. It's great to see you. To be honest, I never really talked myself into Library of Cats. I was waiting for it, knowing that I wasn't even going to do it. But because so many people were waiting for it, I had to join the waiting club, even though I kind of knew that I wasn't going to probably do it. But it was exciting to be in the waiting club with everybody else. But yeah, too much. It's just too much for me. I might do a quick stitch of that at some point as well. If they do bring quick stitches out, I may go for that. But yeah. Brittany729 says, I'm going to try to get at least 1 thread length stitched daily on my project. The Witching Hour by Lisa Parker. It's my very first and only Haid material pack and my first paper chart. Oh, wow. Yes, because Lisa Parker was my very first Haid as well. And I've recently, well, not that recently, I purchased another one called Gargoyle Cat, I think it's called. Sorry, I have to wiggle a bit because I'm going numb. Gargoyle Cat, have you seen that one? And I love the window behind that cat. It's a Lisa Parker one. I have that on my, well, I purchased it. I think I did purchase that one. What have I done here? Yeah, but I don't have a start in my date in mind for anything new at the moment. I started a couple of stamped because I have been stitching in bed when I'm really tired, and when I'm in bed I don't really want to use my tablet for the pattern keeper, so I take on the stamped ones, and of course it's just easier then because I don't need to look at charts or anything. So that's like my bedtime stitch. If I don't want to read, I'll do the stamped stuff. And during the day or in the evening, I'll do the full coverage. That's kind of the way it's been rolling. So I've been thinking of trying to get 1 strand, maybe not a day, but one strand every few days on the stamped ones to see that they move along. Because I don't really have a good track record with the stamped ones, to be honest. Start off with all the good intentions. Oh, Brittany, it's 6 years old in August and you don't have the first baby. Well, that's okay. We won't tell anybody. Nobody needs to know. I'm sure we all have charts that we haven't visited for a long time. We just hope people have forgotten about them. So there's plenty of floss tubers that have said, oh goodness me, I hope no one remembers this one that I've UFO'd. Oh, thank you, Grace. Misty is a little troublemaker, is what she is. She's going around looking for trouble at the moment, attacking things. Nikki, you're doing the cats panel. Which one are you doing? Are you doing the... Oh, hang on a minute. I should know that because I've seen you online doing it. Is it the two panels together in one big piece? I tell you, I can't wait to see all these little cats popping up. I'm trying to thread a needle without my glasses on, guys. I mean, what is wrong with me? I can't seem to thread the last couple of days. Oh, come on now. It's like the thread knows I'm doing a live stream. So we're just not going to let you, you know? Like, do you really think we're going to let you do this whilst you're live? Okay, got it. I have to say, when I was using one strand, I did miss the, what's it called? Doing the loop start. When I was using one strand, I couldn't do the loop start. That was a little bit, I preferred the two strands for the loop start. Because, yeah, like that. It's been so much easier to get a thread in for me like that. So you guys have to vote for sky or dome. Do you want me to carry on with the sky? I don't mean like right now, but in future videos. Sky or go down and continue with the, what is it called? The Vatican building. That's it. Susan says, I only have one huge project. I fell in love with it and couldn't resist. The rest around 50, 60,000. Yeah. So if you really love it, there's a good chance you'll get it finished, isn't it? Solar Wind says, I'm doing Black Widow Deluxe by Stitching Jaws Designs. I've seen Stitching Jaws Designs, I think. I've seen her videos. Celebrating halfway to Halloween. I'll have to check that out, see what that looks like. Great to see you, Liz. Thank you for stopping in. Hope to see a video from you soon again. So Laurie says she's had cross-stitch chaos. Blames floss tube and Haid. My first Haid was the Merry Christmas 2023 that Michelle put out. Took down in a few days. Ah, is that the one with the horses? I think that's the one with the horses, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it briefly. Yeah, that was your first Haid. Gorgeous colours it had. Bobbing with Brittany says, I ordered my first stamp kit from First Stamp. Stamp Stitch Club is apparently very, very good. From what I've read in the reviews, I think you still have to wait. Well, I don't know. It depends where you are in the world, but you have to. I have to wait a couple of weeks. Well, I actually haven't ordered from Stamp Stitch Club. I did want to order from them, but I'll tell you that I've had a problem recently with Every. Who uses Every delivery people, because they've been absolutely terrible in my part of the world, and they don't even deliver to my block, let alone my front door. So I ordered something I can't remember when it was. And I got a delivery notification saying that they had delivered it to a shed. They had delivered my item to a shed. Now listen, guys, I live in a top floor apartment in the middle of a city. We don't have sheds in the middle of a city in a top floor apartment. And it clearly had on their thing, delivered to resident in a shed. I mean, how annoying is that? So I said, right, that's it. First, I want my money back. And secondly, I'm not ordering if every are going to be delivering. So now I check when I go to Amazon and that I check to see who's delivering. Are you back again, Misty? What are you looking? What are you chasing? I check to see if it's every delivery. I'm not saying they're bad everywhere. I've heard people saying that they've had very good deliveries and stuff, but for me, it was just been really, really not good. So, yeah. Thank goodness I could get a refund because I ordered, that was it. I ordered like a canvas painting for my bedroom and it never came. But they had delivered it to me apparently in a shed. I was waiting in a shed somewhere in the city. I'd like to know where that was. And then there was this very like blurry picture of nothing. Could have been anything. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now because I get very riled up. My goodness, the whole thing scrolled down really quickly now. I've missed all the messages. Okay, Stitchy Dutchy. You're probably gone already, but I'll see you later. Solar Wind says, my first hate is Treasures of the Sea. It's a painting of an old wooden table with seashells, pearls, and coral. That sounds gorgeous. It really does. Kelly's Quilts says, I'm stitching the vintage sewing machine by Jules. I'm using 796, not black. Is 796 similar to black? Brittany79 says, there's a way to do a single strand loop. I think it's a pin stitch, isn't it, if you do single strand loop? Some people say you can do pin stitches that way. Let me just get this other stitch in. This is fairly confetti area I'm working, guys, so you have to bear with me, and it's not easy to chat and read and count. I think so far I don't think I've made a mistake, which is good. Brittany says, I want to see more of the Vatican, but the sky is pretty too. I know, I would do them both at the same time if I could. What am I sticking on? I kind of am tempted to just go down, but then I might feel like maybe I should get a bit more of the sky. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Laurie says, I do loops, start with one thread, just come up and then go down the same hole to create a loop, and then it is the same. Yeah, I think I've tried that. Down the same hole. I have difficulty, I think, getting into the same, if it's like 25 count, is a bit small in my eyes. I'm lost. Okay, right, you're talking to each other. Oh, dark royal blue is the color. Okay, so kind of like a 939 or an 823. I think 939 DMC is very much similar to a 939. I think 939 is even darker, a bit more darker navy than, more like a royal blue than the 823. Gosh, we should do like a quiz where people have to guess the color, or like somebody shows you a floss and you have to guess the number without knowing the number. Wouldn't that be hilarious? And you win a prize. Wouldn't that be cool? The only thing is, if you did that like as a competition or something on a video, on a stream, it's difficult to get an accurate representation of colours. Sometimes they come out, they can look a bit darker or they can look a bit lighter. On people's screens can have different settings, and it would be more difficult. But that would be fun, wouldn't it? Guess the floss. Guess the floss. See, I've just come up with an idea there. You could hold up a floss and say, which colour is this and which colour is this? I don't know why that just came to me there. I've marked off stitches I haven't done. So I'm just going back to unmark them. Getting ahead of myself here. Haven't even done that row and I've just marked it off. Little P, that's a lovely name, says, the sky is beautiful on your Vatican. I love a good sky and pattern. Sunsets, Aurora Borealis are my friends. Yeah, they're nice. I think this one, it doesn't look so great close up, but when you look at it from a distance, it does really blend quite nicely. And I just love a nice sunset like that. A nice sky with all those colours. Laurie says, my friends and I do a colour night. We all stitch the same colour. That sounds like a lot of fun. I don't have any stitchy friends in Scotland to do that with. I'm so disappointed to do stitchy nights or anything like that. I mean, nobody that I know here will do any stitching. To be honest, most of my friends are not even crafty at all. I've had one friend who liked knitting, I think, and that was it. So yeah, it's a bit of a downer, that, because I would love to sit and stitch maybe a bottle of wine, Prosecco, although I don't really drink, but I can pretend I drink, and a couple of treats on the table and a little stitchy evening. That sounds great. Whenever one of you guys comes to Scotland, just look me up. Am I doing this in tent stitch? Yes, I'm doing this in 2 strands tent. It looks okay, doesn't it? I hope. I started it in 2 strands tent and I've continued that way. I don't think I ever flip-flopped with this one into the 1 strand. I've always been pretty consistent with this one, I think. Quite happy with it. I really want to get to, I mean, I really like the sky, but to be honest, I really want to get to the lower part of it. I think you can see the picture on the screen there. That section that's got the people in the middle. I'm dying to see what those little people look like, and I'm pretty sure up close they're going to look a bit like little black blobs, like little sticks. But I don't think they're supposed to look much different than, because I mean you can see the pictures way at a distance. It's not a close-up picture of people, so you can't expect to see faces or heads or anything like that. But I just think it's cute the way all those little figures around the middle of that Vatican building there, they're dotted around. I think I really want to see what that looks like. So I'm dying to get to that bit. If I was to continue straight down with this dome, I would get to that bit. But my only fear with that, again, is if I do that bit, get down to the nice bit, then I'm going to be like, oh, I've hit the part I like the best. Maybe I don't stitch on this one in so much anymore. That's the danger. So maybe I shouldn't be so, so hasty, and I should plan it out a little bit better. Oh, I've got a stitch here. I think that's in the wrong place. I've got a stitch done that I haven't marked off, which I'm going to mark off, because if I don't, it's going to confuse me. So I'm just going to mark it off. Oh no, I made it worse. What have I done? It's because I'm not paying attention, right? 2 rows up. I think I'll be okay. Whatever I've stitched that shouldn't be stitched, I'll just mark it off later. I mean, there's all greys around here. There's nothing particularly. Hold on a second, guys. I just want to make sure I know what I've done here before I continue. That one and the next one. Yeah, now we're good. I was doing the wrong row, but I've managed to fix it. Okay. There. 1, 2, 3. What did I miss? So Laurie, where do you stitch? We stitch on Discord. Where do you stitch on Discord? Because I've got my Discord. You know, you can go into Discord and open a room and go live in there as well. It's really cool for that. I used to do Sunday sessions of stitching live in Discord. Yeah, anyone can go in. Hello, Alison. Nice to see you. You've been lurking. Don't worry. It's fine to be a lurker. I'm in Edinburgh, so I'm a bit further down from you. And I have to say, embarrassingly, that I have not been to Aberdeen, and I would love to go there. I've not really been to anywhere, to be honest. I'm real boring. Sorry, the cat just is coming in and out. I have been to Glasgow. I can't remember for what. I've been to Galashiels, been to Stirling. Stirling is beautiful. But there's other places I'd like to go. Yeah, definitely. But I don't have a stitchy friend in Edinburgh. Susan says you could do one thread on sky, one thread on dome. Yeah, that's a good compromise. I'll bear that in mind. That's actually kind of like what we're doing a bit of dome, bit of sky, bit of dome. Kind of works well. It kind of scratches the itch without letting you go too far. Bobbing with Brittany says, my grandmother was born in Scotland. Family names are Watson, Brown and Hall. Ah, that's interesting. So where do you live, Brittany? God, it's interesting, isn't it, when you find out some of your heritage. I did one of those. I haven't done one of those, is it called genealogical surveys or whatever it is, or one of those things where you go looking for your ancestors. But I did find out that my great-grandparents were from Malta, which doesn't surprise me because I'm actually from the Mediterranean. I know I sound English because I was raised in England, but I was born in the Mediterranean. And I've got mixed parentage. So on my mother's side, we are from Malta, which is interesting. And even more particularly interesting because one of my best friends in school was from Malta. I didn't even know that I had like ancestors, like my great grandparents were from Malta. So when I found out, I contacted her and said, hey, she now lives in Malta, but we were in school together in the UK. And I contacted her and said, do you know that my grandparents are, so I could even be related to her? Probably not, but wouldn't that be strange? Like a friend of mine in the UK going to Malta because she's got Maltese family, and me moving on back to the Mediterranean, and then finding out that we could actually still be related. That would be really weird. But they say it's a small world, right? They do say that. You do video chats, Laurie? Is this with cams or just? Oh, that's cool. My Discord group, you should be able to find a link in the, I think it's probably in the description, right? If not, it's in most of the descriptions of my videos. There's a link to the Discord. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, which is okay, but it goes through periods, you know, it gets a bit more active and then it gets a bit quieter. But there's a regular bunch in there, really lovely ladies. And yeah, we do follow along with what we do follow each other and post. So there is usually, oh gosh, what have I done? There is kind of regular posts, but it's not hugely active, let me say. I think Discord isn't really something most people use. Most people use Zoom, don't they? Or Instagram, stuff like that. Discord, it's a bit like Twitch, more of like a gaming place for gamers and stuff. I think more stitchers are opening up, more crafters are opening up to these communities. Don't want to make a mistake in these last few stitches. How many stitches have I done? I've done 84 stitches. I don't think that's bad at all. Maybe I've done a couple of them before we started. You guest on your friend's YouTube channel twice a year. Ah, that's interesting. Laurie says, on my laptop. Brittany says, I wish I could leave Facebook, but I'm there for the stitch groups. I don't use Facebook that much. That's the thing. I don't really use it. I kind of lost interest in Facebook. In Facebook now, I look at, well, the Heaven and Earth page and maybe some other pages I follow, but I really don't use it for much else. And I'm not very good at keeping up with Instagram either. I tried a few times and then I just didn't do it. To be honest, social media for me is, you can just spend so many hours scrolling, looking at things, and it just sucks all your time away. I try to be aware of that as well. But yeah, it's a bit of a, because if you don't keep up with things, you feel like you're out of the loop. And if you do get into things and you get into it, you can get in, into it too much. So I think sometimes there's got to be, for me, a bit of a balance. I think if I don't get outside a bit every day or every other day, I go a bit loopy. Laurie says, in Discord, when chatting to a friend, there is a camera button that starts a video chart. That's how yeah. I think that's what I've used before when we were doing Sunday night chats. I think Stitchy Dutchy actually came into a few of those. I think she's gone now. This must have been a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's hard to be like, I'm amazed at how some of you can keep up with so many things. And even I'm amazed at how much stitching people get done, working full time and looking after young children and stuff. It's just mind-boggling, isn't it? And I don't have young children. I have a teenager, let's just say that. And how much do teenagers want to interact with their parents? Not very much. Let me just say that. Not as much as I'd like, to be honest. And you can't force them and you can't push them. You can only gently encourage them. But yeah, I'm going off tangent now. Susan has a stitchy Zoom with Saturdays. Hey, you guys are all with the social stuff, and there's me here. Now I'm feeling sad and abandoned. Never mind, I've got a cat. I've got a pretty cat. I don't think I really know how to use Zoom. I used it once, and I think it ended, and people said that they have to pay. Is that right? Do you have to pay something to use it for a longer period of time? I'm not 100% sure what I'm talking about, but something like that anyway. I used Zoom for an interview one time. I don't think I've used it for anything else. But I have done videos in Discord. Insta drives me mad because as soon as I open it, all I see is adverts. And I'm like, where's the stitching stuff? It's just ads and ads and ads and ads. And then it starts showing videos that I really don't want to see, like people fighting. And I think, I don't want to see this. Why am I seeing this? And I just click out of it. But, I'd like to go in and support some of my fellow stitchers and like their things or whatever, but I can't get past all the adverts. I know that Facebook does a fair bit of advertising, etc. But I found on Instagram, the adverts are just things completely bizarre. The things that I wouldn't be interested in seeing. I don't really use Facebook that much right now. Oh, Brittany, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Cross stitch lets you listen better. So Luann says, I don't have any physical friends that stitch either. They don't get me at all. They're like, isn't that a bit of an old lady? Yeah, I've had that. I've had that too. And I've been upset about it a few times. Like, I've been told that I'm wasting my time, that I should be out doing other things, not specifying what. Stitching is a calming thing. Stitching helps you survive a lot of crap. I'm not being funny, but stitching actually helps you survive a lot of things. It's something that requires you to concentrate, and you're making something pretty, you're creating something. It's better than sitting there crying, surely, or doing something you shouldn't be doing. I don't get the judgment. I don't get the judgment, really. I used to get upset, really upset, when family members used to say, or have said, that's a waste of time, especially the big ones that you're doing, waste of time. I've never even done a supersize. I felt like saying, wait a minute, I'm only doing a regular. But even so, it doesn't matter what size it is or anything like that. It's the fact that who are they to tell me what to do? They're no one to tell me what to do. I'm not going to get on my soapbox again because I'm going to start getting, but yeah, I feel like, how detrimental can stitching be, for goodness sake? It's just stitching. I mean, obviously, if you're someone who's stitching and you're not feeding your kids, or you're not doing any housework, you're not doing anything, because, the standard basic things, then you can turn around and say, hey, there's a problem. But just for having it as a hobby, I don't. I try not to let it get to me, and I just shrug it away, because Nobody knows what you go through, or the things that you've been through or have to go through, or nobody sits in your chair and thinks your thoughts or has your feelings enough to be able to decide what's right for you. Only you can decide what's right for you. So you trust your own judgment. And when you don't trust your judgment, you ask somebody that you trust, which isn't the person probably that's criticizing you anyway. So do you agree with me? Oh, Laurie, that's how I met the best friends I could find that stitch like me. Well, that's great. It's great to find that connection. Susan says, we don't even live in the same country. I was about to look for a thread there, but I've got all wound up now, ladies. Thank you. More wound up than my threads. I don't know what colour to do next in here. There's no nice big blocks. I'm going to go for that one. Laurie stitches with friends all over the world. Yeah, that's nice. Little P says, I managed to convert my brother and sister-in-law to cross stitch. Wow. But they live down south. My colleagues think it's granny craft. Everybody thinks it's granny craft, but we know it's not. And even if it was, who cares? It's none of their business. Sorry. I'm just going to say it like that. Somebody said something to me recently about cross. Oh, God, yeah. I went to an art class, right? I went to an art class, and there was a younger girl sitting beside me, and we were talking about drawing and stuff, and I said, she asked me if I had done any art before, and I was saying to her, oh yeah, I just do some like digital stuff, and I do some digital drawings. And she said, do you sell them? I said, yeah, I've got like a shop and I make some needle minders and stuff, and I turn them into, she had no idea what a needle minder was. I said, oh, it's just like a little sewing accessory, and she went, oh, and she said, what kind of sewing? And I said, well, cross stitch. And she said, is that what you do? I said, yeah, I do cross stitch. She said, oh, and where are your needle minders? And I said, oh, they're in my shop. And she said, oh, I'll have to tell my grandmother about it. She might need one of those. I tell you, the floor could have opened up and swallowed me. I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh. I think I just did some funny laugh. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to take it personally, right? Because I don't think it was meant like the way I kind of did laugh. But I don't think it was meant in a bad way. Like, oh, I'll tell my granny that you do needle minders and maybe she'll go and take a look. Like, come on, guys, you and I know that it's not just grannies that buy needle. But this is the perception. I said, okay, fine, just laugh it off. My husband said, just laugh it off. Don't take it personally. Don't let it get to you. Why is it perceived? It's like knitting is the same. Knitting can be very much perceived as a granny craft, right? I can't thread today, guys. I think I'm just going to give this up now. And I don't think the girl meant it in a way as to be offensive. She just heard the word cross stitch and then she thought about her grandmother. But she didn't think she was being at all offensive. And to be honest, I didn't take it any offense, but I did think it was like totally wrong what she was saying. I think I've missed some messages. Please forgive me if I've missed some messages. I'm all over the place now. They're the ones that don't know what they're missing, Susan says. When they don't get it. Yeah, exactly. I wish I'd known more about this, the stitching years before I found out. I feel like I found out too late. Like I was in my mid 40s, I think, when I was starting this. And I wish I'd been so much younger, because if I had been a lot younger, I would have been able to do more charts. I'd had more lifetime time to do more charts. Let's put it that way. But hey, what can we do, guys? We can't lengthen our lives anymore. Bye, Brittany. Thank you for stopping by. It's nice to talk to you. I get the same thing when my friends find out I grow plants. Oh my goodness, it's an old lady hobby. How can that be an old lady hobby? Just about everything is an old lady hobby then. Well, the people that have made these derogatory comments to me don't even know what HAID is. They don't know what full coverage thing is. They don't know. If I said to them, I use 25 count, they won't know what I'm talking about. So they can't really say anything because they don't know anything about it. I think they're thinking about old-fashioned samplers and things like that, and that they're just taking that at face value and saying, oh, you know, those old embroidery type things that little ladies used to sit in the corner and do. I think that's the vision that they get. Our kind of cross stitch is actually quite modern, isn't it? A lot of it. Oh. Oh my goodness, guys. Well, I'm going to say I'm not embarrassed to tell people I do cross stitch, even if they don't think it's a modern thing. I've never been the type of person that is affected by what someone says to me. I think I've thrown a thick skin and I just kind of shrug things off. Mostly. If it's somebody I care about that says something to me, then that's going to pinch. But if it's just a general stranger, how's it going to affect me? What they think? But yeah, it is a little bit annoying, isn't it? To be judged like that just for doing something you love. Little B says, one of my neighbours imagined I did samplers, then she saw my full coverage leopard, which she thought was a photo, and now she tells everyone about my gorgeous pants. Oh, that's lovely. Solar Wind says, I was in my 20s when I started. I used to make my own charts because I didn't like the charts sold in stores and I wanted the whole fabric to be covered. Yeah, the charts that they sell in the stores, do you think they're kind of old-fashioned? I remember when I was living in the Mediterranean and well, I wasn't married to my husband then. I don't think we were still kind of living together. And I said to him, weekend, I said, why don't you go down to that craft shop in this new shopping mall? We're talking about like 20 years ago. Go to this new craft shop and pick up a cross stitch pattern for me. It probably would have been one of the old dimensions type. And he said, well, maybe I'll pick one up for myself as well. We can do it together. And I said, yeah, sure. Okay. It'd be a nice thing to do on a weekend or something. So I ended up going with him, and we went down to this like pokey little old store, and they had all these cross stitch kits hanging from the ceiling. I couldn't understand how they were hanging from the ceiling on hooks, really weird, like rails across the ceiling. And the lady behind the counter, I have to say, okay, she wasn't young, but neither was her attitude. She took one look at my husband and she said to him, I've got the perfect one for you because you're a man. You're not going to be able to do any of these. And she plucked out this cross stitch pattern for him. I said, here, this one's for you. And he's like, maybe looking at me like, I don't really like that one. Like, something for like, there was like 11 count or 10 count. And I was so embarrassed. Like, she let me choose whatever I wanted, but because my husband was a man, she didn't want him to pick up anything that required anything over 11 count or 10 count. So she made him buy this this like chart that could be done for an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. Oh my goodness. I mean, I was so offended, but I would have laughed. I did laugh, but I also found it pretty irritating that not only was she sexist, she wouldn't let him buy what he wanted. Can you imagine that happening today? Like, probably could have reported her and everything. But back then, it was okay to be like that. Like, she's kind of like, you're a man. What are you doing in here? Surely I think things are better today than that kind of attitude. Louise, hi Louise. A friend saw a cross stitch I had on my wall and thought it was a painting. She was amazed when she realized I had stitched it. That sounds lovely. Oh, you guys having a great conversation. That's great. I can get a few stitches in. I think I've made a mistake anyway. Oh no. Yeah, don't know what I've done. Go down to here. 1, 2. Right. This ain't working for me now. Right, ladies, I'm going to have to go. So I'm really sorry to interrupt you because I know you're having a great chat, but my dinner is waiting for me. And I'll have to go and heat it up now. But I have thoroughly enjoyed this live stream and really had a great time listening to all of you, reading all of you. Let's say it's been fantastic. And I hope you'll stop by again next time. So in a couple of weeks, I should be able to do another live stream, God willing, and we can pick up where we left off with the whole, putting our boot down about cross stitching not being an old-fashioned thing. It isn't. It's a very modern thing, and we love it. So bye, my friends. Have a wonderful evening yourselves, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Yes, do that, Laurie. Thank you. I'll look for you in there. Bye, Nikki. Bye, Susan. Bye, Marie. Laurie, have I missed anyone out? Some of you have gone. Grace, Louise. See you all next time.